Hi gun people. Do a couple of crazy cop stories here. I can never tell if I'm in that damn screen. Let's see here. Oh, I know which one I want to do. So, talking about suicides, and I think I've talked about a couple of suicides, maybe I haven't. But this one particular suicide was, I mean, it's kind of funny now that I'm looking back. At the time, it was pretty dangerous, and me and my partner screwed up pretty bad. Trying to be nice guys. Instead of being hard asses, we try to be nice guys. And cops learn over time that when you're nice and you cut people a break and you try to, you know, not really enforce the law because it's kind of BS, so you just kind of want to do the right thing, it always comes back and bites you in the ass. So that's why older cops who have been around for a while are like, screw that, I don't give a shit, I'm doing it the right way, I don't care, you can do what you want, I'm covering my ass. So it kind of takes away the human ability of the cop to kind of be able to go, you know, this just isn't reasonable. They're more and more, they don't like cops having discretion. Lawyers and judges hate cops having discretion because it takes away their bargaining power. You know, DAs want to be the only one that can give immunity. DAs want to be the only one that can cut deals. DAs want to be the only ones who can be a good guy and reduce something. They want the cops to be the bad guys, go out there, arrest everybody, do everything, give it to us, and we're smarter, we'll make all the great decisions for society. And a lot of times the cops who are reasonable, who have been out there, they got more information and more background and they can usually make. But sometimes it bites them in the ass. Cut somebody a break, they end up dead. You know, somebody's drinking a little bit and you go, dude, don't drive home, walk home, park your car. You leave, the guy gets in the car, he gets in a crash, he kills somebody, he says, cops, let me go. And now you're screwed. Your whole career's over because you tried to be a decent guy. You know, and of course the cop's going to say, like, look, I didn't let a drunk go. He had smell of alcohol, he wasn't exhibiting any signs. I told him it would probably be better if he walked, and he said he would, so he walked off. And, you know, then they're going to come back and go, why did you arrest him? Why didn't you give him a breath test? Why didn't you book him? You know what? Because he wasn't exhibiting signs. And then it goes back and forth to play the game on who's got the best lawyer to fight the crime. So back to my suicide. Me and my partner's responding, and I guess I can say, I think he still works there, so I won't say his name. He's either sergeant or lieutenant now, but maybe I won't say the department. Somebody, I know how YouTubers are, you'll be on there, okay, lieutenant who used to work with Gore, let me, I'll call this guy and say, yo man, he's talking shit about you. I'm not talking shit about him, but anyway, so we'll just say it's a Bay Area department. I'm working with an agency in the Bay Area of Northern California. And me and my partner responded to this call. Somebody called in, and they want us to do what's called a welfare check. And a welfare check for a cop is, if somebody can't get in touch with somebody, you call, they're always answer. You haven't heard from them a couple days. They were supposed to call you an hour ago. You haven't heard from them. They live out by themselves. You know, some mysterious circumstance that you're like, I'm worried about their safety. I'm calling cops, and I want them to go do a welfare check. Now, if you just call and ask for a welfare check because you can't get the guy on the phone, he's not answering his text, and he hasn't been on Facebook, you know, cops are going to be like Paxan. You have to give some sort of exigency, some sort of emergency situation to where the cops can justify going there and making contact. So that exigency could be, he's got a drug problem, and he's had a relapse, just got a drug rehab, and yesterday he was using, and I haven't heard from him since. I want to make sure he didn't OD. Okay, they'll probably go check on that. You know, he posted on Facebook that life sucks, and you know what? I'll be glad to know it's been nice knowing you. I'll be glad to get out of this world and end it. Okay, so now we have a possible suicide. That's an exigency. An older person who has Alzheimer's and normally calls and checks in, and she's got her, you know, whatever. You have to come up with something to get a cop to go do a welfare check. So this welfare check, they said the guy was suicidal. I think his sister, cousin, somebody called, said they were talking to him. He sounded really depressed. They didn't know if he was going to commit suicide, but they were worried about him, and he's not answering his phone. So me and my partner take this like we do, you know, 10 other calls pending. This one's finally, we worked our way down to it. We're finished with, you know, whatever, the robbery, the shooting, backing up another officer, pursuit, whatever we were doing. Finally, this call came up to where, okay, hey, you guys are clear. This has been pending for an hour, so go check on this guy and make sure he's not dead. All right, so we go to this, and of course, when you deal, the more ratio of your shit calls, the more you kind of get relaxed on BS calls. You know, if I'm going to robberies and shootings and thefts and home invasions and gang shootings and, you know, child molesters and rapes, if you're one of those calls and then you get a call of a loud music, you're just kind of like, whatever, let me go get this call. So cops tend to drop their guard a little bit on what we call poo-butt or the bullshit calls. Well, this welfare check kind of falls that category. Yes, somebody else is worried about somebody that's pissed off, they had a couple drinks, and now they want us to go check. All right, so we'll go check. So we go knock on the door, and we take it, we take it as a poo-butt call. Dude answers the door, kind of, he doesn't have a shirt on, he's got his pants on. And of course, as soon as we get in here, we're looking for signs. So we're immediately, when they answer the door, we got to, because people that want to kill themselves, if they really want to kill themselves, usually don't have a problem taking other people with them. That's why, you know, the most dangerous, when I used to work as a lifeguard, the most dangerous thing you can do is when you're trying to save somebody that's fighting for their life. When they're drowning and they're really fighting, they don't care if they drown you, grab you, or pull you under. And lifeguards and people, when you're working with it, you're always taught to approach from the rear so they don't see you. You grab them around the deck by surprise. You go underneath the water. If you can't get in on them and they're so, you go underneath the water, you grab their feet and you pull them underwater. And this is an actual taught technique. I don't know if they still teach it, but when I was lifeguard, that's what they taught. We'd pull them underwater, so then they try to get to the surface, and they're not paying attention to you, which allows you to grab them by the neck, pull them up the air, get behind them, and then drag them to safety. So when somebody's fighting for their life, it's pretty dangerous. If somebody's trying to kill themselves, it's pretty dangerous. But again, danger is relative. You know, if you're getting shot at for 3 hours and you go to call it's a burglary and there might be somebody hiding there, you know, the burglar is going to be a lot less lower stress. You're going to calm down and take it not as high as when you're being shot at. So now that I've given you all the particulars and I set up for why we did the stupid thing we did. So when the guy answered the door, he doesn't have a shirt, so we first, you know, initially look at him, evaluate, make sure he doesn't have a weapon on him, make sure he doesn't have a gun, he's going to pull it out, shoot us, and shoot himself. So, you know, we're like, hey guy, how you doing? So we're still kind of being a little, you know, down the side of the door, ready, hands on a gun, ready to jump to the side, shoot him if he tries to take us out or whatever. Hey guy, why don't you show us your hands? Are you okay? Please, we got a call. Why don't you turn around, let's check the back of your waistband. Oh, I'm okay. And he's just being really nice and cooperative. And he's like, come on in, man. He goes, everything's fine. We're like, okay, well. So we're dropping our guard a little bit, saying he seems pretty nice, he's cooperative, he doesn't have an attitude. We want to get in the house because then we can see if, you know, there's a suicide note sitting there he's writing, or is there a bunch of pill bottles sitting there, or is there alcohol and pills, or, you know, is there a knife there with blood on it? You know, we're just doing a cursory investigation because we really don't have a crime. Suicide isn't a crime. A lot of people think suicide is a crime. Suicide is not a crime. Assisting or aiding someone in committing suicide is a crime. So if I kill myself, it's not a crime. But if somebody helps me kill myself, they're committing a crime. So, you know, when you're going on these calls, it's kind of like there's not a crime, so we're still kind of dancing around legalities. How much can we do? What can we do? You know, do we want to make a complaint? Do we want to be, you know, err on the side of safety and the guy ends up dead, then we'll get blamed? Or do we want to just say, you know what? In California, if somebody wants to kill themselves, you take them under 5150 of the H&S Health and Safety Code, and you go, hey, you know what, we're going to take you to the hospital, we're going to take you, they're going to evaluate you, they can hold you for up to 3 days, and normally when we take somebody 5150, within an hour they're back out on the streets. But when we take them, it's not on us anymore. We're safe. It's kind of like when you take a kid. When I call Child Protect Service and turn this kid over to CPS, if they give the kid back, it's on them. They're responsible to ensure it's safe before they put them back. I'm taking it out because I think it's not safe, and I don't have the resources or time to do all the follow-up background checks, place to call. So I give it to CPS. Now I'm covered, and CPS is responsible on who they give it to. Which is why when they give it to people who are foster care, kids ends up dead, CPS got shit on their face because they're overworked and they're giving it to anybody that qualifies, and they're passing the minimum standard because they got so many kids. Another topic. So 5150, we could have immediately went there and said, you know what, we had a complaint that you were, and you know what, we're just going to hook you up. Come here, get out here. Grab him, cuff him up. And it got us out of other calls, and it took us off rotation. We'd had to drive them down to mental health. They would have to evaluate and turn them over, do the paperwork, and then we'd be back for call. So it would have been an easy break for us to snag him. Of course, we don't want to do that. I mean, it's just not the point. I mean, some cops would do that because they've either been in trouble before or whatever, but the partner I was working with, he's a good dude, and we both were on the same sheet of music when it came to doing the right thing. So we didn't want to take the guy if we didn't have to. So we tried to do a cursory investigation. We're looking around the house, we don't see anything, looks okay, the guy's talking to us, how's things going, you know, why do you think someone would call us if they were worried about you? Oh, you know what? That's just my sister. Every time, you know, if something goes bad and I call her, she panics and worries, and you know, so he kind of had us convinced that this was a bullshit call and we didn't really have to do nothing. Well, as we're talking to him more and more, we're looking around the house, we get him to admit, or he admits somewhere in a conversation that, well, I did mention that, you know, I might kill myself, or I want to kill myself. So immediately, call that a clue, immediately we went, oh shit. He just told us he was going to kill himself. If we don't take him now and he ends up dead, we're going to get screwed. We got to take him. So now we got no choice. We have to take him 5150. So we're like, look, dude, because you said that, by law, we have to take you. You know, if they're going to release you, we're going to have a doctor, somebody more professional, talk to you, and then they're going to release you. So by law, we have to take you. So why don't you get a shirt on, and we're going to go ahead and take you down, and they're going to do a quick evaluation. If they think you're okay, they'll release you in an hour, you'll be back here. And he's like, okay, that's cool. And very cooperative, just a nice guy, you know, other than that one comment that led us to believe he was possibly, in 5150 of the Health and Safety Code says, anyone that's a danger to themselves or others, you can take them for a mental evaluation. Well, if he's saying he wants to kill himself, obviously he's a danger to himself, so we can take him. Well, he gets his shirt on. I know I'm getting to the point. I'm trying to get you in the mindset of what we were going on, because when it turns to shit, it's like, shit. You know, if I just tell you how it turned to shit, you'll be like, well, man, you guys were stupid. Why didn't you do this? And why? I'm trying to walk you through our thought process on how we're evaluating the things that we're considering, and things that are on our mind on why we didn't just jump on a guy and cuff him. So he's being cooperative, everything's cool, and he's like, hey man, do you mind if I take a piss before we go? I gotta take a leak. And we're like, yeah, all right, leave the door open though, so we can see you. So he goes, okay, no problem. Again, being cooperative, no problem. Walks in the bathroom. You know, we don't want to, cops don't get off by watching people pee. So as long as the door is open, we kind of see him, we're okay. So he's in there, and I don't remember if it's me or my partner who walked away from the door. And I seriously don't. If it was me, I'd say it was me. But one of us was closer to the door, kind of saw him, and then we were kind of looking around the house, seeing if there was any other evidence, and we're kind of glancing around. So we took our eye off the guy. And you know what, just for the sake of this video, it was me. So my partner, I don't get any hate mail from my buddy who still works there. It was me. I turned away. So anyway, we didn't hear it, and then all of a sudden, it got quiet. In a pit stop, we didn't hear the toilet flush. We're like, that's odd. Again, call that a clue. We're like, that's kind of odd. Why ain't he coming out? So we go back there. He's back there with a freaking razor trying to cut his fucking throat. He's already cut his wrist. We're like, oh shit. So we grab him. We're fighting for the freaking razor in the bathroom. We're falling over the toilet. We're both on the floor. He's resisting, still trying to cut himself. We don't know if he's trying to cut us or him. You know, now technically, could we have shot him? I mean, legally, we probably could have went, hey man, he had a razor, we didn't want to go in there, we drew our gun, we told him to drop the razor, he didn't, he came at us, and we shot him. So, when I tell people there's 100 times I could have legally shot people, this would have been one of them. But to me, there's legally shooting and then there's morally, and most cops have to do both. We have to feel like we're legally authorized to kill, and we're morally authorized to kill. And if we're acting in complete fear and we have no choice and we have no time to think about it, and those instinctive shooting where we're shooting to save our life, those are easier shots than when we have time to think about a point, because now we're evaluating, our head's turning. So we didn't even think about drawing our gun. We're like, you know, the guy's a little skinny guy, we're just going to beat his ass or whatever, take the razor from him. If we get cut, you know, whatever. So our dumbass fault for letting him go in there and not watching him. But anyway, we end up wrestling his ass to the ground. We both got blood on us. We handcuffed him, we're taking him out, and we're like, shit, now what? You know, because everybody's going to say, well, how did he get to the bathroom? Well, why weren't you guys watching him? Why didn't you let him go to the bathroom? Well, why are you guys cut up? Why did y'all have to use force? So we knew that the shitstorm was coming down, and we're like, fuck! So we get the guy, we end up booking him, and we write up the report pretty legally what happened. I mean, we just didn't elaborate on the part where we left him by himself. We just said the guy went to the bathroom. When he walked in the bathroom, he grabbed a razor and tried to cut himself. We tackled him on the ground, we used force, and did him. So technically that was right. Did we lie? I don't know. I guess technically admission of the truth is a lie, but whatever. To me, the report was truthful. That's what happened. I didn't go into as much detail in the report as I did to you. Obviously, that's a lot of writing, a lot of typing. You're going to make the report long. You're going to get a lot of questions. You're going to get a lot of second guessing. Somebody's going to be trying to sue somebody, you know, and I know there's going to be some constitutionals, y'all, who you cops are a bunch of bootleg thugs voiding the Constitution. Shut up! So anyway, we take the guy, you know, he had some cuts on him. It wasn't life-threatening. We booked him, took him 5150, and we learned a valuable lesson. Don't be freaking nice to people. People are like, all cops are assholes. No shit, because when we're nice, it bites us in the ass every time. So we learn not to be nice, not to cut people slack, because we're the one that's going to end up taking the heat if it goes bad. Just like when you use force on a guy. I just did a thing on Tamik Rice, whatever, where the cop shot the kid with this fake gun. If you screw up and you don't react according to policy like you should, and you think about it, you could end up dead. And then if you don't end up dead, you're going to end up with 1,000 questions. Even when you do the right thing, you get bombarded with the right thing. Luckily, this one, I mean, I can't remember if we told the sergeant, because he was a corporal at the time, I think. And I don't know if we told the sergeant or we probably did bullshit. Yeah, we fucked up on this damn suicide shit. Let the knucklehead go in the bathroom and grab a freaking knife. So I mean, we were bullshitting. We probably said that, and the report reflected that. It just didn't go into detail. So that's my little valuable lesson. Guess what happened every time after that when we went to a suicide call or possible welfare check and somebody was suicidal? They got seriously controlled. They weren't allowed to do shit without us on them, either handcuffed, searched, etc. And some people will say, well, you know what? That's what you should do. That's what the policy says. That, yeah, but you know what? I just hate jacking up people that don't need to be jacked up, especially when they haven't committed a crime. And that's the key here. There was no crime committed. All right? We'll end that there.